Welcome to Spring Lake Park High School, where today the Panthers host the Osseo Orioles in the first round of the Section 5 4A tournament. John Adden, J.W. Cox, and our entire North Metro TV crew, glad to be with you for this matchup. Should be a great one. 4 versus 5 always is. These two teams played to a one-point game earlier in the season. Osseo won at 46-45. They're going through the starting lineups now here, and these players know each other well here in the Northwest Suburban. The Osseo Orioles went 8-6 to finish 10-8 overall, and then the Spring Lake Park Panthers went 8-5 in the conference, 12-6 overall. You've got two very experienced coaches in Tim Thiessen and Grant Guzzi, both 20-plus years with their programs, leading the way, and a lot on the line with somebody's season coming to an end today. I mentioned the game earlier this season. Osseo wins 46-45. That was back on February 5th. They led by 7 at the half and only scored 11 points in the entirety of the second half, so a very low-scoring game. These are teams that know how to put up points, both averaging 60-plus points a game. It'll be interesting, JW, to see what kind of action we get today.
And I look at the difference from that first game. The Panthers went just 2 of 17 from beyond the arc. Maybe that's not going to be all of their game when it comes to scoring from beyond the arc, but it certainly has to be a part. And if they can make shots at a higher clip than that, that's how they can get closer to that 60 that you talk about them averaging. And then don't change anything on that defensive end. That's what you want to do against Osseo.
This is the part of the bracket that started late, because last night Park Center beat Roseville 72-56. Earlier this afternoon, Centennial season came to an end 74-64. But Osseo Spring Lake Park looking to play either Champlin Park or Irondale. Ready for the tap, Jack Lefker. Ready to go. And he against Josh Ola-Joseph. One forward by Ola-Joseph to Umoria. On the dribble is Waits. Tyrese Waits to the top. Ola-Joseph going to the rim, puts it up with the right hand, no good. Tap follow, and that's in for Barhaiga. Little pressure. Spring Lake Park able to get into the front court fairly well. Now facing up against this zone defense, Johnston with the ball.
Good job by Oja to settle that down, not panic after seeing that full court pressure right away. Now they can get into the half-court offense.
Back out to Johnston. Second on the team in scoring. Now pass down to the baseline, controlled by Caleb Skelly. Swung around the arc, taken by Ray for a moment. Now up to the top. Johnston for 3, and his shot's no good. Johnston has taken 119 threes now this season, more than anyone else on the team. Osseo with a 2-0 lead and the ball. On the dribble, here's Waits. Up to the top. Entry pass tipped away by Ray. Johnson feeds it ahead on the run. This is Lefker to the basket, fouled from behind, and he'll try for 2 at the line after the call against Tyrese Waits.
I'd like to see the big man run the floor. That's good. Good defense inside by Fitz-Ray to get over the top. Osseo, first time they try to enter it in with the dribble, this time with the pass, and Ray reads it well, and just a half step too late going up there for Lefker.
Lefker about a coin flip this season, 51% on 35 attempts at the free throw line. His first shot here off the rim, and no good. Lefker set up for his second attempt, averages just under 6 points per game, 5 rebounds for the big man inside. Can't connect on the second shot. Follow-up. Spring Lake Park had it. It's tipped away out of bounds. Nick Ojai kind of caught up along the baseline, but gets bailed out with the call.
Just doing some Ojai-type things right there. Back-to-back offensive glass. He's had some brothers that have obviously come through the program, and on the basketball court, it was about that hustle, it was about that effort, and he gave it right there to earn this possession again.
Johnston hands off to Skelly, back up to the point. Those are the top 2 scorers for this Panther team. They reset. Ray from the left wing. He gives it off. Johnston fading. Tries the shot, doesn't go. Rebound controlled by Josh Ola-Joseph.
Like that they got it going to the rim, though. Osseo is packed inside the three-point line on 2 defensive possessions so far to try and make that tough and make them settle for outside shots. Maybe the finish was a bit of a settle, but they at least attacked the rim.
Ferguson to Bernard Umoria. Now this is Waits. Johnston being screened as Waits tries to penetrate. He flips a pass forward. That one knocked away. Stolen clean. Nicely done by Caleb Skelly. In transition, Ray throws it to the left side. Traveling violation will get turnovers going both ways. The walk that time by Ojai. This is a Spring Lake Park Panther team that comes into the postseason hot, winning 6 straight. It's their longest winning streak of the year. And some very tight games. Now they lost in this matchup by 1 earlier this season, but they have 4 wins during the 6-game winning streak of 6 points or less. Shot there, no good for Ferguson. Rebound to the Panthers. Spring Lake Park and Osseo playing in a low-scoring game to start. Ray starts the drive. Stop and pop. His little flip shot, front rim, and falls over for 2. Ray averages 12 points per game. Nicely done there.
Quick attack. They over-pursued, jumped into the passing lane. The pass came cleanly to him, so he had that step past the defender and went on the attack and finished.
Moria tried to drive baseline. Johnston forces him back out to the top. The junior calling it out. Orioles get it all the way to the rim. Nicely done by Umaria. He averages just over 10 a game, and he gets his first 2 there.
It's an excellent scoop, and he was well challenged by Lefker. Still finished.
Ray driving all the way in. His shot too strong. Offensive rebound to Lefker. He'll leave it back out. Johnston, and another chance for the Panthers.
What they're doing the last 3 possessions, they've been able to attack the rim. It's not going to be easy against the size inside of the zone of the Orioles.
Panthers, the 4 seed, and again, I've said this as we've watched them throughout the regular season as well. If you'd asked me before the year, the Panthers the kind of team that are going to be in the top half of the bracket, I would have said no because of all that they lost from a year ago. 2 1,000-point scorers in Remy and Myron. Phillips was the 3rd leading scorer, and he left as well. Here, a finish at the rim by Caleb Skelly. Averages over 14 a game. He gets his first 2, and we're tied at 4.
I think that's why winning in a program can be so important, right? You establish that tradition, then it's not a shock that they have to step up and do something.
Here, top of the key 3. The straightaway look is good for Ola-Joseph. He averages 17 points per game, leading scorer for the Orioles. Panthers get it into the front court. Lefker from the basket. Now gives it to Ray. Over to the right side. Johnston loads up the 3. Good. Trey Johnson, I mentioned he takes a lot. He hits about 31%, and he connects on that try to tie this game at 7 apiece.
Teams have got to combine 2 for their first 4, so we'll see if that signals a little hotter shooting and then, of course, higher scoring than that first matchup we've talked about.
Top of the key, controlling. Now fed inside, and the finish from inside, Josh Ola-Joseph. So he goes from the top of the key down into the post. He scores in both ways. Drive on the other end, and a quick answer from Nick Ojai. We're tied again. These 2 teams tethered to each other on the scoreboard.
Yeah, we were stuck at 2-0 for what seemed like the longest time, and now everything's wide open. Love the passing from the high post on that last possession for Osseo from Barriega.
Good answers from both teams. Here, Umaria for 3. Yes! Bernard Umaria with the make. So 12-9, Osseo back in front. They continue to take the lead, only to have it wrestled away. Johnson thought about the 3, instead to the corner. 3 from there, off the mark, no good. The miss by Ojai, and possession goes the other way. Checking in for Osseo is Michael McIntyre. Panthers sit Lefker in favor of Logan Kinsey. Kinsey played 11 games this season. He sat out from February 6th to March 1st. What happened on March 2nd? Panthers started a 6-game winning streak. Guy averages 10 points per game in the time that he's gotten. He has been a difference maker down the stretch.
Excellent 6th guy to bring in there off the bench, and that can always be a difference, certainly late in the season.
On a team that has some really high contributing seniors, he is a junior. Here, top of the key, 3 attempt, no good for Moria. Offensive rebound by Waite. He'll feed it inside, tipped away, and a foul called. Johnston was in the area, and it's likely that he'll get his first. So Johnson, I mentioned the senior for the Panthers and Kinsey contributing as a junior because this Orioles team is all juniors. 11 juniors, including their top 7 scorers this season. So you could look at this, and I'm sure they're not, as a dress rehearsal for next year.
They hope that's how things go symmetrically.
Here, first attempt, no good. Second attempt, no good. Ola-Joseph frustrated, didn't get a call. Here's a deep pass ahead. Ojai collected it. Now they go back inside. Kinsey feeding it out. And we get a foul call on the floor defensively. McIntyre in the area. He'll get called for the foul.
Yeah, good looking up the floor to get that long pass up ahead, but also good transition defense for a very quick moving Osseo team.
Excuse me, they gave that foul to Ferguson, his first, team second. Driving to the hoop, trying to switch up the hand. The shot no good for Skelly. And with the 3-point lead, here come the Orioles from the right wing on the dribble. This is KK Totten. Hands it off. Now Ferguson looking to make a move. Panthers swiping at the ball. Umoria backing it up. Umoria dribbles to the left, hands it off awkwardly a little bit. Collected by Totten. KK Totten giving it off. This is Ferguson once more. Kind of a hesitation motion look right now.
The Panthers are just switching everything, so that's stymieing some of these dribble handoffs. There's never a lot of space because they've got the athleticism to do it.
Speaking of athleticism, Bernard Umoria all the way to the basket. He finishes at the rim. He's got 7 points in the early goings, and it's a 14-9 lead for Osseo with 11:06 to go here in the first half.
So Osseo not waiting there off that dribble handoff, taking it instead and driving quickly with the first step, so that beats him around the initial defender as he gets it, drives. And again, it's going to have to come down to some of that, because as long as the Panthers are switching here, those dribble handoffs aren't going to open things up too much, because you like the length and the athleticism that the Panthers have around the perimeter to be able to do that and kind of guard 1 through 4 at the very least. And that then means that somebody off the bounce is going to have to take it independently, and that's exactly what Umoria did. He's off to a good start.
Umoria was the second leading scorer coming back this year. He averaged 11 points per game during the regular season last year, just behind Ola-Joseph, who also returned for the Orioles. So that's one of the differences, right? The Orioles were even younger last year. If their top 2 scorers coming back are now juniors. But they got a lot of experience. They're gaining more. And again, this is a team that is good this year, could be great next year with all the experience they're bringing back.
And I think experience at this level is a crucial part of that, right? You call it a dress rehearsal, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they would settle for just getting here, seeing what it's like at this level. They want to figure out how to win at this level, because that's going to pay dividends even more so when they get back here as they expect and get back here as they hope as a higher seed next year.
And you could see it the opposite way as well, right? These Panthers, younger, didn't get as much playing time maybe, but they got the experience thanks to the leaders before them. Panthers having trouble getting this up the court.
Eventually lob it, so the Orioles kind of gave that to him there just on the pass past midcourt.
Johnston shot no good. Rebound by the Panthers. Now the ball bobbled along the baseline and finally rolls out off of the Orioles. A bit of a break for the Panthers there, and they need some points, trailing by 5.
Panthers mentally here have to remember that next time down the floor after a made bucket, they're going to have to face that again. Be a little stronger moving to the middle of the floor on some of those cuts, but shy of midcourt, to keep that defense moving.
Ball being inbounded by the Panthers, taking a long time, finally gets in. Drive here, Skelly kicks it off to the right wing. Johnston, back to Skelly, free throw line jumper, got the roll. His second bucket. Orioles.
Skelly's so strong in there that even in all of that traffic, he was able to body his way in, get the kick out pass, and be ready for the receipt right back.
I think that's a great word. When I look at the Panthers, they seem like a strong team. Now, some of that is the carryover from the football team here. Finally forcing a shot up, it doesn't go. Then trying to track it down himself. Good effort by Carver. He's back on the dribble. Carver hands it off. Taken by Ferguson. Trying to drive against Peyton Thompson. And we get a blocking foul. Thompson's been a bolt of energy off the bench all season long for the Spring Lake Park Panthers. This foul called on Johnston, though. That's his second already.
He was just a hair too late. He tried to cut off the baseline, or the sideline in this case, but being that late was going to make the block call too easy.
Osseo from the point. Barhaga, now handoff, Umoria, shot no good, long rebound, tracked down and saved by the Panthers just barely after it was thrown back in by Totten. Panthers into the front court, nearly lose it. Ray regains it. He is called for a travel. Interesting. It didn't really seem like he had control of the ball.
Well, control is the operative word right there. They get quickly down the floor to avoid potentially that press, John, and they didn't really have much of a plan for it with an Ola-Joseph jump stop at the top of the key. Be able to settle down. There's going to be a rush coming right by you of players in transition. Wait for that to go through, then you can attack.
Ball sent into Amoria on the block. He spins baseline, passes it out to the corner. Dribbling himself to the top is Totten. Gives back to Amoria, looking at his options. Wants to go inside, it looks like, to Carver. Instead, he'll back it out. Go over to Ferguson on his left. Donald Ferguson handing it off. Now skip pass over to the right side. Amoria drives, hands it off. The finish at the rim for Lewis Carver. He becomes the fourth Oriole to score now in the first 16 points. 5-point edge.
Good things on both ends. Sharing the basketball for the Orioles, and the Panthers do make that adjustment. Quick, decisive passing to beat that full court press. Man, this is an active 2-3 zone.
Thompson for three, shot no good, and Kinsey aggressively going for that basketball, gets a hold of it. Now looking to hand it off, finds Ray, and he'll back out.
You look up in the dictionary, 2-3, aggressive 2-3 zone. I think these Orioles would come to it. These guards up on top, they're flying around, following that basketball, and it is just tough living on the perimeter for the Panthers.
I completely agree. The motors that these guys have at this point in the game, can they keep it up all game? I imagine they can. They've been doing it all season.
And then you've got Barriega just sitting in the lane, ready to intimidate anybody coming in there off the dribble if you can get past something on the perimeter. It sets up well for him. Tough day for Coach Gussie's squad.
Fitzgerald Ray at the top, now gives it over left side to Kinsey. Kinsey handing it off. O'Giles looking at his options. Now quick dribble, shot tossed up, no good. Follow tip is there for Kinsey to clean up the Skelly miss.
Gotta have some of that. It's gonna be a scramble drill at times off those misses, and the zone can't defend against that if you get that offensive glass in the putback.
Kinsey 6'5", he's second on the team in rebounding at 6.8, just a couple of decimal points behind Caleb Skelly this season. Back to a three-point game. Amoria from the top of the key. Give him some space. Now we'll throw it into the post, and Kinsey pokes it and seals it away.
That's that long arm reach, too. His arms, when he hangs down to the side, they almost go past the cuff of his shorts there, too. So he's got plenty of reach. I think that says more about his arms than the shorts, but maybe not. I don't know.
Here, pull-up shot. That one short. And this one run down by two Panthers. They couldn't decide who was going to take it. Ray to the basket, takes the second attempt and gets fouled. He stuffed himself at the rim, but stuck with the play, and now gets to try for two at the free throw line.
He took the elevator to the 11th floor, needed the 12th floor that time. Still very athletic to get that back and put it back up there, and he can make it a one-point game.
Carver calls for the foul. So Ray steps to the free throw. Only the second player to go to the free throw line. Taking a look at it. Finished with a lay-in, he's got two. He's got to earn them the hard way now. Ray, a 75% free throw shooter on a team-high 77 attempts this season. First attempt is good. 5 different players for the Panthers with points. Ray could lead them all or be tied with Skelly if he hits this. Bounces out, no good. 2-point ball game. Pressure from the Panthers in the backcourt. Loose on the floor, and a jump ball is called. Really aggressive play. Alternating arrow favoring the Panthers, so they get possession.
Well, that's good recognition. I love a lot of what Barriega does, distributing the basketball on the high post on the other end, but he's not the guy you want to have in the middle of the floor trying to break a press, and the Panthers figured that out, jumped that double team, and that's good work to avoid fouling and be able to get there and get the steal.
Yeah, Barriega, probably not the best idea to put that on the floor. Keep it up high. You're one of the taller players on the floor, and then find the pass with your head up. Top of the key, or rather to the left wing, Kinsey thought about the three. Thomas gives it back. Pass inside, tipped away. Back out. Thompson, hands off. Ogiles drives, leaves to the top for Lefker. He puts it on the floor, driving, stops, forces up a shot, can't get the call, and we get a jump ball again. Yes, this time it's Osseo basketball.
We got big men out there that they don't care. They're going to put it on the deck both ways. First, we had it from Barriega trying to go up the floor, and now Lefker on the bounce. Looked good, but he, again, ran into Barriega. Is a good defender down there in the post.
Tyrese Waits, the junior, averaging 8 points a game, brings it across the timeline. Thompson waiting on him. Now pass over to Omoria. Omoria to the point for Josh Ola-Joseph. Ola-Joseph pulls up on the three. No good. Lefker with the rebound.
They got away from their motion concepts there a little bit. A quick three-pointer. You can get that at any time.
Thompson gives to Ojile inside, and he gets called for the offensive foul.
That's a tough one. There's contact. The defender is set.
Take another look. Maybe just a little lift with the elbow there. Visually, you could see something. I don't know if there was a lot of real contact there.
Right. Don't love it. Makes it easy to call, though, I think. Or too easy to not.
Waits into the front court. His team up by 2. Ferguson dribbles along the wing. Now handed off to C.J. Thomas, excuse me. Give to Waits. And he'll float a pass inside. Stolen away and stepping out of bounds once he got that ball. Man, everything Nick Ojile does reminds me that he played football.
Yeah, right? And he flew in. He read that pass. He was the off defender, so he gets back in there. And the only thing that stymied him was the fact that his heel came down on the inline. With an excellent anticipation play in good hands.
Ball fed into the corner for Ola-Joseph. Starts a drive against Kinsey. Flips the shot up good. Good drive to get in deep. And then he rises up. He's got 7 points. Time for a game high. Thompson thought about driving in himself. Looks to hand it off. It's tipped and just out of bounds.
He head faked basically without meaning to on that initial pass on the flash across the baseline from Thompson. If he throws it the first time, Thompson can catch and finish most likely. Then there was too much traffic.
Trey Johnston back into the game. Passes into Lefker. Now this is Thompson over to the left side. Johnson thought about the three. Being guarded tight by C.J. Thomas. One of the few non-juniors to see floor time for the Orioles. He's a senior. Kinsey from the right wing. Trying to feed into the post. Quick steal by Waits. Tyrese Waits was waiting for that. He'll take it all the way to the other end. Finally deflected out of bounds by Johnston. 5:01 to go first half. 18-14 Orioles.
That was a good transition take, but also good transition defense. Waits had to beat a couple of guys near the timeline. Kept after. You know he's got the skill to do that. And the Panthers just surviving by a fingertip there to knock it away and get to play half-court defense.
Inbounded by Waits. And we get a foul on the inbound play. Too much contact here. Ola-Joseph called for his first.
Trying to set a pick there and moved along with him. Not a whole lot of whistles. I mean, 7 at this point. 4-3, just under 5 to go. Johnston
picked up the dribble. Gives to Skelly. He'll cross into the front court. Hand off to Ray at the point. Ray to Johnston. Looking for some cutting and some motion of the Panthers. Handed off Ojile to Skelly in the corner. Back up to Johnston. Johnston flips it back to the left. Gets it back at the point. Panthers, based on Coach Guzzi's animated style on the sideline right now, are not doing what he's looking for.
Oh, they really wanted to shift it. They tried to overload on this left side. The passing just wasn't there to take advantage of it.
Pass into Lefker, back out to Johnston, and we get a whistle. 3 seconds in the lane.
He was standing on the free throw line. Interesting. But you can get caught in that when you're playing against a zone and you're the big man. You're trying to float, be an option to get it inside and kick. Let's see where he was. Yeah.
Okay.
And the whistle came well after that. That's a mistake.
Ferguson at the point. Donald Ferguson with the three. And the rebound off the miss collected by Ojile. Up ahead to Johnston. He drives right into the lane. Flips it up. Right hand off left side glass. Oh, that's pretty.
They haven't really had that opportunity despite the pressure. Osseo's done a good job of at least having a couple of defenders back to still clog up in the half court right away. That time Johnson, good recognition to take it without pause.
Here, pass underneath, and the finish from in tight for Isaiah Johnson-Argo, just a freshman. Ray driving in, his team down by 4, forces up the shot, won't fall, rebound tipped out of bounds, Panther ball.
He was trying to get some contact whistled there on Bariega, excuse me. But he did a good job of being straight up and down there.
Johnston to inbound from right in front of the girls basketball team for Spring Lake Park that won earlier today. 71-28. And we get a foul on Ray. Fitzgerald Ray, that is his first. And most importantly, it's a turnover, right? 14 fouls aside. Possession back to Osseo, whose largest lead in this game is 5 points, I believe. Right now they sit at a 4-point advantage. Ola-Joseph starts to drive. Leaves it back out towards the point. Over to the right wing for Waits. Waits driving against Johnston. Floats the shot up, it won't go. Tipped out to Johnson and he'll head up court. With speed against a lot of white jerseys. He forces the shot, won't go. Rebound knocked away and out of bounds. Lefter got it to roll off an Oriole foot.
I still like the decision. I mean, it didn't work out, but he turned out to be one-on-one right there, so he got down the floor quick enough. It was just good enough defense near the rim to avoid fouling. And you got to give credit where credit is due to Johnson-Argo. Just couldn't secure the rebound. Not going to fault his team for pushing the basketball when they get the chance, especially with the type of defense that they have to face on the full court and that zone defense in the half court. Hold whistled here.
Johnson-Argo called for the foul during the inbound play for the Panthers. They'll do it again, get it to Kinsey in the corner. Pass out to Ray out of his reach, and we'll go over it back.
A couple of key turnovers keeping the Panthers from maybe cutting down this 2-possession deficit right now. Johnston's got to be careful. He's playing with 2 fouls right now. They just sit earlier because of that.
Tyrese Waits with the basketball. Hands it off to Ola-Joseph. Working off a screen to the point, and we're going to foul on Kinsey.
Well, we've had a rash of those moving screens going both ways. I think that's Kinsey trying to draw that, but pushing too much in the estimation of the official there. Trying to fight his way through that screen. 5
team fouls aside. Ola-Joseph with the ball as we reset. He'll pull up on a 3. This shot well short. Rebound secured by Johnson-Argo.
Missed their last 4 from out there now after starting 2 of 3. Was a weapon, but they've gone cold.
Ola-Joseph drives in and finishes. Kinsey was all over him every step of the way. Really tough basket, and he does draw the contact.
Yeah, he fought up through that.
So second on Kinsey.
You look at Ola-Joseph, and he's obviously a guy that has no fear running to the basket and getting to the rim. Now what he's going to have to do to make his game even more of a factor. Moving into that senior year we've been talking about so much about is, just adjust the way you're finishing at the rim. And all that comes with is game action and time in the gym, right, to increase the bag of tricks.
He's got a dozen in the first half. Game high lead, 7 points for the Orioles. Ray out at the top, deflected from him. Thompson saves it, gives back to Ray. Starts to drive, forces up the shot, no good. Recovers, goes towards the hoop, forces it up under duress, and finally draws a foul call. That was Ray against the world that time. He just kept trying to attack this Orioles defense by himself.
Well, he was surrounded eventually by 4 white jerseys there, and at some point you're going to get the foul called on you if you keep trying to put it up. Yeah, ill-advised to try this pull-up jumper right there against the big man at the free throw line, and good work to get it back himself. And despite having Skelly down there low, he just took it. We've seen him finish that. Now he's got to convert at the free throw line.
Bariega called for the foul eventually on the play, even though he had the clean block at the start of that replay, as you saw. First shot up and in for Ray, who's now 2 of 3 at the free throw line in this game, has 4 points. Osseo has won 5 straight matchups against this Spring Lake Park team. Have to go back to the 2017-18 season when the Panthers swept the season series. Here, second shot up and in for Ray. but meeting in the playoffs is not something these teams have done. Osseo dribbles into the front court, courtesy of Omoria. He'll hand off to Ferguson. Now Ferguson off the screen, back to Omoria. Panthers continue to switch. Taken by Waits. Waits got to the three-point arc. Looked like he was going to shoot. Now he dribbles inside, gets caught up, and the follow finish for Barriega.
No regard for his own teammate underneath him, but give him credit for finishing that over the top of a fallen Oriole.
Ray from the free throw line, the stop and pop goes. He's been trying to get that going, and then finally he falls, puts one through.
Still maintaining that two-possession lead, though, for Osseo. They've come up with just enough stops and forced a couple of crucial turnovers here. Give themselves the inside track here and having the solid lead going to halftime. Very low scoring first half, though. So this half a lot like the second half the last time these two teams met. Here, shot floated up, no good. Johnston has the rebound, gives it off to Ray. He races into the front court, heads right to the basket, and traveled. He was hoping for that extra James Harden step right there, and they didn't give it to him here today at Spring Lake Park.
I'm kind of torn on what Ray's up to right now, because to me, the Panthers have played such a good team game throughout the season. At the same time, when they've set up in the half court, it just hasn't been clicking the way they'd like.
I'm all for it. I mean, it hasn't turned into the best results yet, but I think if he keeps getting those opportunities, the odds will go in his favor, or the stats will bear themselves out that he's going to finish more often than not.
I'd like to see his teammates react to it, though. Crash the boards behind him. Get in there and support. Be in his vision so that he can find you.
Well, that would be maybe the one critique on that time, because Skelly did sprint to this corner on the near side and could have been there for a potential kick-out three, which might be the adjustment you look for after you've taken it to the rim a couple of times.
Omoria leaves it out to the right wing. Ola-Joseph fakes the three. Now pulls up on a long two. Shot's no good. Thompson with the rebound. 5 seconds left. He'll take a top of the key three, went into the defense, lots of contact. Now we'll get a shot the other way. That one was not released in time, so no good. Interesting finish to the first half, 25-20 in favor of Osseo.
Yeah, love the defensive closeout here on that last possession to force at least the two-point jumper. I mean, because you'll live with that, and still it was tougher on the move for him to hit it. Didn't love that transition look. You got to know what you're going to do with the basketball. Either keep it and take it all the way or come to a jump shot and try to distribute. He got caught up in the air. So a wild flurry, but a game that was pretty much a two-possession game all half.
It's a tight one at the break. Osseo leads 25-20 in this section quarterfinal on North Metro TV.
Spring Lake Park believe in building a strong and safe community. Our city moves onward and upward while holding on to our traditions and roots. We maintain a small town feel even though we are nestled next to the big city. We believe in being good neighbors and building community with safe neighborhoods. And we believe in citizenry and promote being active both physically and socially. We in Spring Lake Park love to play and believe in having an abundance of parks, playgrounds, and green space so that everyone can take a moment to enjoy the natural beauty that surrounds us. We believe in educating our children well, so we use the most advanced tools of learning to ensure continued success and bright futures. We promote athletics to keep our children fit and healthy and build a sense of teamwork. We in Spring Lake Park believe in providing a good, stable home for industry and small business to thrive. We have a large variety of successful businesses that have found continued success and benefit from excellent visibility off Highway 65. And a large customer base, as we are located only 15 minutes outside of downtown Minneapolis. Come visit us in Spring Lake Park, and you will see why we believe our city is one of a kind.
Jason? Let's go see your room.
Almost time for the start of the second half between the Panthers and the Orioles in this Section 5 4A quarterfinal round game. John Ed and J.W. Cox back with you as we look at the first half. A lot of Josh Ola-Joseph. First, he starts top of the key with the three-point make. Panthers able to answer. Johnston, never shy about shooting from downtown, answers the Ola-Joseph shot. And then the junior goes inside, bang, and he averages 17 a game. He had a dozen in the first half here. Moria with the drive finishes with a nice scoop shot using the right hand. Skelly flips it up, no good, but the tip followed by Logan Kinsey, who just seems like such a solid all-around player. Johnston driving to the hoop, pretty similar to that Moria bucket we saw earlier, driving right hand off left side glass. Here a wild shot turns into a wild finish. Parienga with the bucket. 5-point game at halftime, and now we are ready for that second half to begin. Panthers will start with the ball.
I don't expect to see too much different, John, between the way these two teams attack, because I think both defenses in the half court are very solid today. And when you look at who's going to win it, I mean, it's got to come down to who's the most efficient in attacking the rim. We saw Spring Lake Park attack the rim and too many times come away empty. They've got to be able to adjust that and also adjust that transition defense themselves to keep some of those drives from Amoria away.
Ogile from the top gives to Ray. He finds Johnston. Johnston being guarded tightly. We got man defense out there now. Oh, maybe not.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Keeping them guessing. Yep, they're
Here,
following.
Ola-Joseph steals the ball away. Then he is fouled. Caleb Skelly going to pick up his first. Foul's not a major concern in the first half.
I think on the ice we would have called that interference. Skelly going after that loose ball and just kind of bodied him out of the way. Looked up a little bit like, well, I didn't reach in. No, but that was enough.
From the top, this is Waits. Looking to hand off to Ola-Joseph. His defender painted on him. Now back has to Amoria.
Yeah, he's going to have to follow him around. Skelly's got the length to be able to try and stay with him. It's almost a game of keep away because once he gets it, he's got a lot of different ways to score and affect this game.
Ferguson handling. Now hands off to Ola-Joseph. He wasn't given much option on that.
Forced the handoff well away from the bucket.
Josh Ola-Joseph pulls up for three from a step back. And he connects.
That's why it's so tough, right? I mean, you keep it away from him long enough, you keep him deep outside the three-point line, and he still pulls up and hits it. Largest lead of the game right here on that first triple. That is their third of the game. The Panthers went 1 of 4 from deep, kind of got away from the three-point shot late in the second half. Late in the first half, excuse me.
Feed into Skelly. Now he comes back out with it. Well, the zone is back. You see how often they change that up throughout the second half. Ogile dribbling in, gets caught up on that defense.
Drew a second defender, but nobody flashed to him. Someone had to be there. Again, it's a zone, I know, so someone's not technically open, but got to be more movement to the bucket on a drive like that.
They try to give it to Lefker. Instead, it's stolen away. Moria to the other end. Scoops it around Johnston's defense. Ola-Joseph with the follow, and he's fouled. He hit the one free throw he took in the first half. Now he'll go looking for more. He's already got 13 points in this game. Moria with the first try, doesn't go. Ola-Joseph. And they called a foul on Ray. You can see that Lefker was in the area as well. It's the second on Ray.
It's a big time out here for Coach Guzzi. 400 win man earlier in the season, but he's now seen two different things in two different defense possessions back in the second half, and his offense has come away empty both times. So he has to make sure his team's on the same page here. Well, for Osseo, you talk about how much they're going to change that. Well, they're looking at it to see what can we do to keep them guessing every time down the floor. Coach Thiessen been around for 20 years at this point, and you know, there's going to be bags of tricks there that he can pull out, and one of those was popping the man defense right away to start this second half. Need some answers on that offensive end if you're Spring Lake Park. You're 2 free throws away from being down 10.
We talked about the 6-game winning streak for the Panthers coming into the postseason. The Orioles, winners of back-to-back games, beating Robbinsdale, Armstrong, and Coon Rapids to wrap up the regular season after a pair of losses to Champlin Park in a sort of home-and-home series.
Yeah, it's something that you probably won't see much beyond this season. Playing the same team like that, just situations dictating that some games end up rescheduled or scheduled that way.
Now we get the free throws for Josh Ola-Joseph. First shot is made. You know, until someone made a noise, it's just so, that's the one big difference, is that you don't have a rowdy student section at any games.
Right. There are some students here.
There are students here, which is a rarity throughout the course of this season. Usually during a free throw, there'd be a lot of noise, there'd be a lot of movement. Hopefully in a playoff game, you'd have a full gym. Second shot doesn't go, a back iron miss, rebound tip to Skelly. You have the girls basketball team for Spring Lake Park sitting over there. They're not making a lot of noise. They're wearing their track suits that they have for pregame and postgame. I wish I'd been contacted because I would have put in an order. Those look super comfy. Here a foul. Demoria runs in to Ray.
Yeah, it's just wrong place, wrong time for Omorio, trying to hop around that screen and kind of blindsided there. That's a tough foul. I'm not saying it's not a foul, but it's a tough foul if it's whistled on you.
Skelly gives into Lefker. He'll hand off to Johnston. To the top of the key. Over to Ray. Thought about the 3, then tried to give it back to the point. Johnston collects the ball.
Any bucket will do right here. Instead, was that tipped?
It was last touched by the Orioles. Right. Yeah, there was a player for the Panthers right there on the sideline, but he kept his hands off. Skelly gives into Ray. Watching this Panthers team that averaged 67 points per game have such a hard time scoring is interesting. O'Giles, wing 3 attempt, no good. Ray with the long rebound. Gives quickly inside to Skelly. Turnaround shot, won't fall. Rebound tipped out, collected by Umoria. His outlet pass ahead for Ferguson, who collects and then backs out to reset.
Good Umoria. Idea, bringing that down.
On the dribble, gives back to Ferguson. Now waits. Tyrese waits, driving towards the basket. His pass deflected. Johnston has it. 3-on-2 if they get in quickly. Johnston goes around one defender, beats the second. His shot won't fall. And the rebound collected by Barriega.
Tough 3+ minutes here for the Panthers. And you had the 3-on-2 break. Needed points off of that to kind of break the seal of the scoring in the second half.
Ferguson, pass over to his left, finds Umoria on the wing. Up to the top, Barriega surveys his options. Gives back to Ferguson on his right. Top of the key. Ferguson had it poked away. Gives the Panthers time to switch back. So Skelly gets Josh Ola-Joseph. Josh Ola-Joseph for 3. The shot's no good. Rebound to Ray. And for how good Ola-Joseph is, he just doesn't possess the ball as much as I would expect. There was hard contact, more of it, no foul calls anywhere. Umoria coming up court, finally a reach in against Ray.
I think that first one could have easily been an offensive foul, but the players all beat the officials back. So none of them were there to actually be in a position to make a call, so they let it roll. And then that one just too aggressive for Ray. It is his 3rd. He thought he was coming off, but they need him. They need some kind of offense here, and so he's going to have to play through that.
It's interesting watching players talk to refs now because of the masks, right? We can't see that they're exactly talking to the ref. It's very much like a catcher with the umpire all game long. Here, pass into the post. The shot no good. Nearly got his own rebound. It's loose, sat on the ball, and we get a foul called against the Panthers.
My. I mean, that was a wild scrum for the basketball, but Barriega was already headed down to the deck. Not sure how much he was helped there. Hard to see from that angle because they called the push on the guy on the weak side, I think.
Yeah, it was Kinsey who picks up his 3rd foul in limited minutes. And I think Kinsey's a headsy player, so it's kind of interesting to see him rack up all of this.
Coach Guzzi got the stop sign from the official who called it, so he didn't think so either. And that's another person we can't see what they're really doing through that mask. It's an 11-point game.
Waits gets called for the foul. Panthers trying to bring it up, and now it's tipped out of bounds. Kinsey to inbound. 11-point game, and it seems like a mountain to climb right now.
Because they haven't scored yet in the second half. I mean, they're still sitting here. So for all the fouls, whether or not it was, whatever it might be, you got to put the ball in the bucket here to get that first step out of the way.
Johnston, straightaway shot won't go from the free throw line, then rising up and tied up on the play. Caleb Skelly never gets a shot away. It's a jump ball.
That just makes, I mean, it's pretty simple, but it just makes everything seem worse when you haven't seen that ball go through yet in this half.
It's just a 6-0 run, but everything feels so large in a game where the teams aren't scoring. And it's not like Osseo's tearing it up in terms of points, but there's a growing difference throughout this game as the travel is called.
Jump him with a little full court pressure right there and the double team. Got an official shoe tie that bring us to a stop. Looks quick, he's ready. Oh, he was almost centered up too. Like we almost had him on the turtle cam.
Kinsey, Ray, O'Giles, Skelly. Now back into Kenzie. Tries to pass it back out. It is tipped and out of bounds off of the Orioles. Just a very active defense.
Oh, both ways. I mean, both of these teams are giving max effort on their defense. And it's creating contact, it's creating tip balls. It's a lot to sort out.
Johnston over to Ray, fakes the 3, starts the drive to the basket, forces the shot up, in and a foul. That's what Ray has been working towards all game long, and he gets it to work that time.
The Panthers needed that like a hungry crew needs donuts. I mean, just a bucket to go, and now a 3-point play to boot potentially. And stop what you said was that 6-0 run.
I believe it was Amoria calling for his 2nd on that play. Just the 2nd team foul for Osseo here in the second half. Ray's free throw up and in. He's 4 of 5 at the free throw line in this game. Now has 10 points. More pressure in the backcourt from the Panthers. Trying to recover now. Amoria passes into the post. Wide open look and a lefty lay-in for Barriega. He's got 6 tonight.
And they missed that only, or they survived that once only because he missed the shot.
Telegraph pass stolen away by Waits. He goes to the basket and a foul is called. Ray was coming in for the swat.
We're blowing the whistle before he even made the swat. I didn't see a lot of contact before that. But yeah, that was just a bad pass.
Here's another look. He goes in for the shot. Wow, that looks like a pretty sweet block.
Gee whiz. I mean,
first free throw attempt, a back iron miss for Waits.
That's a tough one. Tough one to take.
Waits scoreless in the first half, has 2 here in the second half. 10-point ball game right now. Here, second shot for Waits goes in. Panthers ahead to Skelly. He'll drive in, kick to Kinsey. Instead of the corner 3, bounces it out to Johnston. Thompson in that ready position wants the ball. Instead it goes to Kinsey. Looking for an entry pass into the post. Instead it's kicked away by Osseo. Orioles send in Michael McIntyre to give Barriega a breather.
And they got points, but like you said, everything feels so much bigger and so much longer of a climb. And I think some of that goes back to that defense that we're talking about, because you have to work not just for every shot, you're working for every pass, every dribble. It is a pressure defense, whether they're in the 2-3 or following in the man-to-man. Need it.
Loads up the 3. It's off the mark. Skelly with the follow. He's fouled from behind on the tip attempt. And so Caleb Skelly going to the line to try for 2.
They're going to have to get some of these outside shots, A, to fall. B, they might have to be a little quicker on the trigger because, again, that Osseo defense, it's the closeouts, too, that cut down some of that room to operate. And we've seen a little bit of hesitation on the perimeter throughout this game for the three-point shooters for the Panthers.
Skelly, a 71% shooter on 68 tries this season, misses on the first. That's 4 free throw misses for the Panthers in this game. Second attempt, rolls in. 5 points for Skelly. Waits, drives, kicks to Ferguson in the left corner. He'll drive inside, losing the ball on his way up. It's tipped out of bounds off the Panthers on the attempt there by Lewis Kergard.
Good recovery that time. There were the 2 times they were beat by Barriega down low because they over-pursued on the perimeter and didn't stay sound defensively on those principles on the backside. That time we're able to do it.
Skelly nearly picked the pocket from behind, trying to get back into the defensive set. He does. Osseo didn't try to take advantage there of a man out of a play for a bit. Ferguson dribbling up at the top. Hands it off. Now controlling Waits. Tyrese Waits to Amoria. Osseo doesn't look like they're in a rush to do anything all of a sudden. Still over 11 minutes left in this game. They lead by 10. Ferguson drives in, hands it out. Skelly looks to jump the passing lane. Instead, we get a screen foul. Moving screen. McIntyre called for that, and possession goes over to the Panthers.
You got to do something if you're Skelly right there. And again, you get the benefit of the foul call, but when they're running that motion game, you have to try and tilt it in your favor a little bit. Being over-aggressive ain't the way to do it. Really see if they're interested in shooting the basketball or not.
Well, Skelly's got a great burst, right? So he gets there real quick to close in and help on defense, even if he's just trying to poke the ball away. He's also not necessarily looking to control that ball, right? He's almost diving, sliding onto the floor just to knock it forward, knowing he can hop back up. Now Skelly trying to take it to the basket, trying to hand back out to Thompson, and instead thrown out of bounds. Turnover on the Panthers.
Again, I'm not stumping for a quick trigger 3 or anything. They are down by 10 with 10 minutes to go, but I thought there were 2 passes there early in that possession where if A, the pass is a little crisper, and B, the shooter is in a little more of a mindset, they could pull the trigger and try and knock one down, and that might be the type of mindset they have to be in at this point against this tough defense for Osseo.
This is a Panther team that knows how to shoot the 3 and has done well throughout the course of the regular season doing so.
Too passive can be just as bad as missing. I mean, either way, you're not coming away with points.
Here's quick pass along the baseline. Good defense to force a second try, but able to convert on that second try is McIntyre, his first points of the game. Thompson started to drive in. Now he has his ball taken away. It's loose and finally stolen clean by Cargerer. And we get a whistle and a traveling violation as the Orioles were headed up court. I think when we talk about the 3, and you can get another look at this attempt underneath, right? Trying to reverse it, won't go, but follows his miss. And now we'll get the inbound on the other side for the Orioles. I was going to say, long shots, or long misses make for long rebounds. So also the way that this defense has been packed in all game long, you might have more second chance opportunities than you think. We get a foul called during the inbound play. It's going to go against Osseo.
This is that great type of game where a whistle blows and it's been going where both coaching staffs have the visceral reaction right away that it's going to be negative. That time it worked out for the Panthers, but a Panther coach spilled all his notes over there as he started to leap up out of his chair.
Foul was called on Totten, by the way. Driving in, throwing up a shot on the move, no good for Johnson. Rebound to the Orioles, secured cleanly by Cargerer. Here, stealing it away is Ojai. He'll push into the front court. Hand off to Thompson. He gets to the bucket, floats a shot up and in. First bucket for Peyton Thompson, who averages 8 points per game. We got a foul against the Panthers during this inbound. It's going against Skelly. We might have some free throws down the stretch,
I mean, I was going to say, beside adding to that potential tally as you go back to Ojai, who could have tried to knife that defense right there himself, instead slowed it down just enough, got the trailer. to a little floater from 4 feet. I don't mind that foul so much here because now Osseo's got to inbound it again deep towards that corner. But of course, to your point, with 9:21 to go, that's the 6th team foul on the Panthers. I don't know what that conversation was about.
There's a lot of talk for very little scoring here today. And I don't mean the players.
Everybody, yeah. Officials to coaches. Coaches to officials. All right, well, that was easier than it needed to be. You get it to...
Ola-Joseph brings it into the front court, and he is fouled. Ray is in the neighborhood. It would be his 4th. They're going with Kinsey? No, they gave it to Skelly. I think Kinsey already picked up his 4th on the play prior. He was just still up there because these fouls are happening so one after another. Ola-Joseph at the free throw line where he is 2 for 3 today. First attempt on a 1-and-1. Back iron miss. Rebound secured by Osseo, and they get another foul. Back to the line.
The only good thing is there's 5 fouls on Osseo too, so 2 more away from the bonus for the Panthers, but you've got to find a way to be aggressive, but without fouling here.
First shot doesn't go again, and Panthers got a break there. Johnson brings it into the front court. Gives to Thompson, left side, feed inside, forcing up a shot, it won't go, but the foul call will give chance for shots to Caleb Skelly.
So now they're shooting technically the rest of the way because that'll be number 6 on the shooting foul. And the rest of the time, the bonus. They're just trying to find Skelly somehow moving towards the bucket. He started that play on the right elbow and then cut through behind the defender with 1 on his hip. Basically had decided before the ball was even headed his way that he was going to try and fling it towards the rim.
Skelly's first attempt is good.
Turtle says yes.
Foul called by Ola-Joseph, by the way. Here, second shot drops in for Skelly. 7 points, half of what he averages this season. Little fake, and now a throw up ahead. Able to finish at the rim with the lay-in is Lewis Cargerer. 4 points for him tonight. So the Panthers scratching for points, and then they have to deal with so much after that. Really under control play there by Peyton Thompson.
Yeah, I thought it was going to get out of control, but the way he stopped basically at that restricted arc, elevated, and finished with the left hand was fantastic.
Pass to the left side. Now dribbling is Cotton. Gives to the top for Ola-Joseph. Panthers fans starting to make some noise here. Quick feed, Ola-Joseph, stolen away by Ogile. Brings it into the front court. Hands it back to Ray, and he travels. The Panthers have just not been able to put any kind of string of successes together here today. Yeah, they're still within 8, but...
Right, that's too valuable of a possession right there. You get the mistake from Osseo, who's been fairly mistake-free here in the second half. Bad pass. Ogile starts to settle it down, but still going a little too quick for Ray to try and follow him in there.
Off another miss. Or excuse me, now brought into the front court. Here, you're gonna have a blocking foul called. Johnston feeling the force of that one, and he gets called for the penalty. He was in foul trouble early on. That is just his 3rd now.
Yeah, picked up too quick and then played pretty heady when it came to fouls down the stretch because he was out there on the floor in the first half.
Waits on a 1-and-1. He is 1 for 2 at the free throw line in this game. Makes the first, earns the right to shoot a second. It's tough. Second shot doesn't drop. Rebound collected by the Panthers. Tell you, if you were a coach out here scouting, you might be impressed with some of the defense you've seen here today.
It's true. At least some of the hustle on it. They're going to go fouls both ways here on Skelly and Barriega.
Skelly just walks away. Barriega arguing. Now, Skelly's already got 4, or now he's got 4. So
he's been physical in there with whoever's been on him in the post, and I think that's what Barriega's frustration is.
So those two will have to sit in the box, coincidental minors. But we'll still have 5 on the floor. Skelly takes his seat on the bench. Barriega will actually stay in.
Because it's only his second, which, again, I'd love that to be more of a, I mean, I guess you just can't blow the whistle at your discretion necessarily.
Sure.
But love that to be more of just a conversation. Hey, settle it down, or this. Because now Skelly's got his 4th foul. And there's a whole lot less of an issue there for the Osseo team. The guy picks up his 2nd.
Ray starts to drive in. He is fouled along the way. And the whistles continue, right? 18 fouls here in the second, or 19 fouls in the second half.
And just to finish the thought, I mean, from the outside, you look and say, okay, well, you call fouls each way. Like you said, a coincidental minor, which really doesn't do anything except to the 2 guys that have to go
in
to the
hockey,
box for 2
no, it
minutes.
doesn't.
Yeah, but here, it did have a bigger impact on the Panthers, notably. And
back iron miss for Ray, and then a foul on the rebound. And where are we going with this? It's against the Panthers. Man, the reactions of the players made that so hard to understand what was going on, because the Orioles seemed very upset initially.
No one knows what they're doing. Again, these officials have a hard job, whatever, but they do better off to not keep pointing and just go over and make the call to the scorer's bench, because they're pointing at a mass of 6 players, and so no one's going to be able to figure it out. So I know they're supposed to somehow communicate that, but yeah, point. No, we can't tell who you're pointing to. There's 3 players from each team right there. Just go to the bench, make the call, and we'll sort it out.
It was the 5th foul on Kinsey. So his day is done. Barriega at the free throw line on the first attempt. He makes good. He has 7 points in this game.
It is double bonus time, too, with the 10th team foul.
I knew that. I'm not sure that Josh Ola-Joseph did, the way he went into the lane there. Second attempt is good.
And there's a long time to go in this game, too. It's an 11-point game. There's a long way left. We got guys fouling out. We're double bonus. We're going to be in double bonus both ways here soon.
Ojile, corner 3, no good. Nice rebound that time by Ola-Joseph, reaching back for that.
Utterly shocked that Ojile didn't follow that. I mean, again, he might have thought it was good because it was right on line, but he's the type of guy that, is usually scrapping after those rebounds.
They haven't made a lot of threes. They've taken fewer than I think you or I would have expected in this game, and that is still something that we could see. Johnston takes it away, heads into the hoop, and is fouled from behind on the shot attempt. 3rd foul on Carver.
Got pretty high on the cylinder, too. I don't think it was a goaltend, but it was up there, and there was some contact.
Those two battling their way up court. So Johnston at the free throw line for the first time in this game. He is a 79% free throw shooter coming in on 52 tries. He's the best free throw shooter they have. Not counting, let's give Jackson Ware his credit. He's 2 for 2 this season.
Yeah, you can't get better than 100%.
100%.
If you want to put some arbitrary limits on who can lead the team, that's on you.
Johnston. And I always do.
Yeah, me too.
2 for 2 at the free throw line. Much needed points. Now some trouble in the backcourt for the Orioles. They'll get it ahead. Ferguson brings forward, now pulls back out.
Jamba Ojile staying home there, keeping that from being a break after they did get past the press with a long pass.
How long has it been since we've had a half-court setup for the Orioles? It feels like it's been an hour. Because I remember it looked like they were just trying to run clock. And that was a long time ago.
They've had 1 since then. And it ended in that turnover that then came in the Fritz Ray traveling call. But yeah, not a lot.
Driving in, Waits hands it off. Umaria finishes off his first field goal in the second half, and now he's got 9 points. That's most of the difference here on the scoreboard as it's an 11-point lead. Feet ahead to Thompson. He'll go in, float it up, and finish up the basket.
9-point game, 6 minutes to go. Timeout, Panthers. You need a lot to go your way here, just the way Osseo's been approaching this. And we talked about this in the girls' game. You don't often want to slow things down too much because that can take you out of your game. But I think in that motion offense, Osseo's shown the ability to execute that and hang on to the basketball, and then also, after an over pursue, eventually get a bucket. So there's going to be a lot to handle on that defensive side of the floor. No doubt that's going to be a lot of what Coach Guzzi's talking about there. But they also need to find a way to get some consistent offense that also has to be quick because time is going to run short here sooner rather than later.
Well, I saw the score of the game the last time they played. We are in that neighborhood at this point with still significant time to play. I'm not sure why I spent all of the time I did looking at the high-scoring efforts for these players this season, because that was never going to be what this game
Apparently
was.
not.
We're going to see Ola-Joseph match the 30 he had against Park Center, or Johnson the 36 he had against Rogers. This is a defense-first game. I have to also say that credit to these two teams. A lot of times when you play this hard and are this physical with each other, there's extra going on. And we haven't had any extra from either team throughout this entire game.
Certainly not against one another, right? Like there might have been some comments to the official, which I'm always going to let go by. I mean, it's a frustrating game and a lot happens. But, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, between the lines and to one another, so far so good on that.
I'll tell you what if one of the Osseo players broke a stick right in front of an official? Would you change your tune?
I would.
Okay.
I would. Oh.
Timeout called for by Osseo.
Wow. I thought it was a quick 5 anyway, but Osseo's going to get the timeout. And but to your other point about how this was defensive, and that doesn't always show up in the stats that we get, right? It doesn't show up the fact that Osseo can come out here and jump this 2-3 zone for most of this game and fly around and make any passing on the perimeter or any clean penetration almost impossible. And then the Panthers, they've held their own too on that motion game, keeping most of everything for the Orioles on the first run outside the 3-point line. So these two teams, you're absolutely right. The defense showed up. They know how to play one another defensively. They've both had some games where they've given up some points, but the matchup here today has been a defensive battle that right now has been a struggle in the second half for the Panthers to overcome.
What an interesting matchup for this first round play. Like, I'm not sure how these teams will stack up against the number 1 or the number 2 seeds, whoever does advance and might be playing on. So this has been a good one here today. Osseo hasn't won a section championship since the 2017-18 season. For the Panthers, you have to go back to 2008-2009, and that was when they were back in 3A. Arriaga to inbound. Gets it in quick to Ola-Joseph. Ola-Joseph trying to dribble up the baseline, now hands it back. Quick pass to Moria has it, and he'll get into the front court. Fouled from behind, Skelly reaching, that's his 5th.
Oh,
he'll join Kinsey on the bench.
Johnson just kind of got caught in the blocks there as I think he read that last pass on the full court pressure and then hesitated just a moment. And so he stayed in front instead. That's Skelly's 5th.
This is a Panthers team that's going to turn back to Lefker. It really hasn't been a Lefker type game today. So he has not gotten a ton of minutes. If they have to go deeper into the bench, you're talking about players that haven't seen minutes all day, because they went with a pretty short rotation this afternoon.
There's only 2 guys left over there that don't have their sweatshirts on, and both of those guys have fouled out.
First shot up and in for Tyrese Waits.
Those sweatshirts are nice. Not as nice as the full sweatsuit that you were mentioning earlier, but.
And, you know, maybe they've got the matching pants.
Maybe.
Second shot good for Waits. Johnston picks up the dribble. I don't understand that. Maybe I'm misreading something.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to beat it with passing through the middle and then the quick kick down the floor, but if you're given that room, definitely keep the dribble and at least survey while you're pounding it into the deck.
Ray kicks it out to Johnston. He'll load up the 3. Yes!
Need it.
He's the only player for the Panthers to make a 3 in this game. He now has 2 of them. Is he willing to pull that trigger more down the stretch with only 5.5 to go?
He waited even longer than I would have hoped he would have on that one. So maybe that gets the confidence rolling.
Johnson's got that ability. I love Thompson to the basket. Here, going to the basket on Thompson, and A foul called on Ray while the bucket drops in.
See what he's trying to do, but I'd rather have him actually foul him and keep the ball from going in the hole here. You're not going to get this call. We're underneath him, basically, and there was...
When you set the feet.
There could also just be a no call, right? I mean, there was no contact until Ray was already falling to the deck.
So Ray is done. That is 3 players that have fouled out. Arguably the key 3, right?
Right.
I think Johnson is also one of the top players, and Kinsey's an off-the-bench guy, but I'm a big fan of Kinsey, so what happens now? Jackson Ware gets into the game. First shot up and in, or rather second, only shot for Waits. That was an and one play. 11-point game. We've been at this number plenty of times. Ogile brings it into the front court. Hand off to Thompson. Thompson back to Ogile. Thompson again. Give to Johnston. Outside, now a 3 from the right wing, no good. They gave the look to Ware. He couldn't make it happen. Gets the ball back on the wing. Johnston dribbling in.
Got to get inside out somehow.
Finds Thompson. He'll shoot a 3. That's no good. The Panthers aren't even looking to go inside on that play, or on that last series.
And that's going to open up a better look from 3. That was 2 steps beyond the arc to eventually take that for Thompson.
Ball controlled right wing. Flip back to Amoria. He's got a baseline drive ahead. Now he kicks it out to Ferguson. Ferguson into the corner. Ola-Joseph for 3. No. Rebound secured by the Orioles. And that's a factor that is going to be bigger. Rebounding right now with the players that the Panthers have on the floor is getting tough. You've lost out on what I would say were the more aggressive rebounders, except for maybe Ogile, in terms of how they go at it.
Yeah, and it's got to be one and done here because the Orioles are in no hurry to shoot. So when they do, if they miss, got to be prepared to end the possession.
Drive, finish, not there. Tap follow, doesn't drop. Here a shot and no foul call somehow as Barriega gets rocked to the ground. The follow finish for Tyrese Waits. 9 points all in the second half for Waits. Up by a baker's dozen are the Orioles. Johnson, Ware, now right side Thompson. Back to Johnson. And the Orioles know it, right? They know Johnston wants to take the 3 and he's going to take it from deep, so they are guarding him super tight. He takes it inside, knocked away from him, and out of bounds off of the Orioles.
Yeah, but you're not going to beat this zone with just trying to dribble through. I mean, that's one step. You can try and penetrate, but you have to be looking to kick at that point.
Inside to Lefker, he gets a shot away. Foul called on the play as the shot was nowhere near the rim. He'll go to the line to try for 2, where he went 0 for earlier in this game.
Yeah,
Lefker scoreless today. He normally averages 5.5. That
zone is just built to have you try and keep it on the perimeter and pass it around and give you nothing off of any of those passes. So they got to do something different here in the final 3.5 if they're going to have this comeback.
Lefker missing on the free throw attempt as Barriega got his 3rd foul. Lefker. Shot rattles in. Gets his first point there. Osseo sending ahead to Amoria. Long outlet to Ferguson, but again, he's not looking to score in that situation. Just peels out.
Knows the time, score, and the situation. They'll go at some point on this motion. They're not going to hold it for 3:15, I don't think, but...
Yeah, Moria starts to drive in, then just pulls back out. Remember when we were watching the girls' game earlier today, we kept thinking, when is Spring Lake Park going to pull something like that? Moria pulling a little something out of the hat as he Steve Nashes that play in and out, then he goes back in and just makes it look easy with no one around. Back out to Thompson, feed inside. Lefker finishes inside. Pretty passing that time from the Panthers.
Nice feed, came off the attack, the kick, and then right back in on that adjustment.
Waits into the front court, finds a wide open man, finishing at the basket. Barriega into double figures. 14-point lead for Osseo. Johnston in the front court. Those 2 men at the top just playing Johnston constantly. He'll shoot a deep three. Got it.
Timeout Panthers, last gasp time, 11 with 2:18. You hit a few more of those from 4 steps back, you can get right back in it, but that's got to come with stops in quick order. Now what you can do, of course, the last time they tried it, and Barriega still laid it in over the top, as you look at the deep three from Johnston. Good job letting it go if you're going to go from that deep before the extra hand gets over there. But basically at this point, the Panthers are going to have to over-pursue on this full court pressure, which is going to leave somebody open on that back end. Now, the course of a game, you worry a little more about that, but at this point, you need the steal because you need the extra possession. The 2 points that they may or may not take on that back end isn't what you need to be worried about right now. Not that it doesn't matter, but you got to be able to pressure the basketball, and if that means bringing an extra guy and losing, whether it's Barriega or whoever it might be on the back end, you got to live with that and hope that you come away with that defensive stop.
I spaced a little bit. When do you think they should pull the goalie?
No, this is basically what you're doing, right? I mean, if you commit all 5 of those guys to the defensive side, you don't have an open net, but you got one guy in the bucket back there, and it might as well be. And I never really thought of that, but it's kind of the same thing. If you lose your principles of full court pressure, which would be somebody's got to make sure there's no one that gets behind them, you kind of forget about that now because you just need possessions down by 11. They'll still move Lefker back, but not going to stay back.
Barriega having some trouble getting it in. Finally finds Ferguson. Ferguson trying to dribble up against Ware.
They didn't come trap after that inbounds came.
Ferguson towards the basket, gives to Barriega. He'll finish inside. Dozen for Barriega today.
Well, the big man's going to have a chance to hammer this one down, right? I mean,
unless he fouls out, there's his 4th.
Right.
And as he got Thompson from behind, we'll go to the line for 2.
But because, again, there's going to be the over pursuit to the 3-point line, and he's going to have a chance inside against a potentially good matchup. And if he can make more than he misses here in the final 2 minutes, no chance for Spring Lake Park to come back.
Thompson's first shot up and in. Second attempt. Got the top. Knocked out of bounds. Seems lower than it is at other gyms.
Well, we've seen that 4 times now today between the 2 games. So, I mean, you might have a point.
I mean, it's only that side that has it set up like that.
And it was the other side where 2 of the other ones were. So, I don't know. It's this type of stanchion.
Ferguson, corner 3. No good. Rebound right to Barriega, and he gets another.
He's the closer there underneath. He hasn't been a huge part of their offense. Been a big part of that defense in the middle, but he's getting the opportunity and closing it down here late.
10 second half points for him. Lefker trying to force it up, and he draws the foul call. That will be the 5th on Barriega, and he'll end his day with 14 points. Lefker ready at the stripe. Shot rolls off, no good. It wouldn't have made up all the difference, but that's 7 missed free throws by the Panthers in this game. And 8. That one should have counted for half a point because it was at least halfway down.
Yeah, but a few along the way, as you well know, changed the momentum or the instances in the game, right? I mean, it might not be all of the points. 7 more to get you a little bit closer at some point. A little more pressure on Osseo. I mean, they did such a good job of answering any time Spring Lake Park had something good on the offensive end. And they were able to keep this game right around 9-11.
Shot up and in for Umoria.
But also, like you said, some of those issues were self-inflicted by the Panthers. You get a steal, you turn it right back over. You get a bucket, you give up a bucket on the other end.
Moria made the first, missed the second. He's got 12 points. Johnston trying to clear some space, get the three away, no good. Long rebound, tip to Amoria. He's got it with about a minute to go. Gives off to Waits, who will dribble into the front court.
And this is, again, I've got him for 2 made threes in this game.
Johnston fouls from behind, and the seniors have kind of seen themselves out because he will be done for the day.
We'll lose
Joining
another sweatshirt on the other side.
Yeah, Ray and Skelly, the other seniors who have fouled out, along with Logan Kinsey, the junior. On the other side, bench emptying for the Orioles to get some new blood in there.
Well, they earned it with that defensive effort. Had enough on the offense here in the second half. I think they're going to end up maybe over 60 points here with some made free throws.
Stephen Casti comes into the game, the 6'7" junior. Second shot, he is good. So there it is, 60 points.
That was the first shot.
Oh, it was.
Because we had the foul out, the substitutions. You weren't alone there.
No, everyone was ready to continue play, get this final minute off the clock. There it is. Don't want to take points away from Waits, who does move into double figures with those makes. He's got 11. Thompson trying to drive in, forces the shot up and in. He's a good penetrator. Thompson with another bucket.
Put himself in the popcorn maker there. Jump stop, rise up again, and knock it down.
KK Totten with the dribble. And we've said this for some time now. They don't really need to do anything significant.
And now they certainly don't.
Foul called on Thompson. Is that his first? That can't be possible. Wow.
Someone had to not be fouling, or we'd have...
I don't know that that's true.
You got 4 guys that foul out. I mean, that's 20.
Remember, they didn't get to 10 in the first half.
That's a good point. And I doomed us in this game from a whistle standpoint, because at one point there were 7 combined fouls called. Now 5 minutes to go. And, not much of a whistle game, but Ojal and Lefter are going to sit down.
Brendan Smith, the senior, into the game. Totten got his first point with that last make, and he'll make another. Who else? Nate Litke checking in. The junior gets the ball on the left wing. Hands it off. Smith trying to drive. His shot blocked. Tipped back out. Thompson controls. He'll take it to the hoop. Lay it up. No good. Rebound secured by Johnson Argo, who had the big block. And we are done. 63-46. The Osseo Orioles get the win and advance to the semifinals. The season is done for the Panthers, who end at 12-7. Thank you all for joining us today for the entire North Metro TV broadcast crew, including my broadcast partner, J.W. Cox. I'm John Haddon saying so long from Spring Lake Park, where the Panther boys lose to the Orioles 63-46.